And whether we do that one by one or in group, time will tell.
Including John Bolton, yes. Yeah. I mean, he's someone who I would like to hear from, and presumably I get the chance to vote for that after the opening arguments.
But Brit Hume says that it is unlikely to change the game at all in the end, and he joins us now, Fox News senior political analyst. Brit, good evening. Great to see you tonight.
Hi, Martha.
So you hear Mitt Romney there. There's also sort of noise that Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski could also ask for witnesses in this trial, and then some names that could actually push it over the 51 mark that could actually make that a reality, that we would see witnesses in the Senate, and that could drag it out a long time.
Martha, I think that witnesses could happen, but make no mistake about what this is. This is a Hail Mary pass being urged mostly by a Democratic prosecution, the House prosecutors, who obviously don't think that the evidence that they have adduced so far is sufficient for a conviction, and they're trying now at the last minute to get further witness testimony. But think about it for a second. What do they know about this, what these witnesses would testify to? The answer is nothing. They don't know what John Bolton would say, or Mick Mulvaney, or any of the rest of them. They don't know what these people are going to say. They haven't taken their depositions. They haven't interviewed them, so they don't know what they're going to say. Now, how often does a confident prosecutor go into a case and in the midst of a trial call a witness that he hasn't even interviewed? I mean, it's an axiom of the practice of trial law that you don't ask a question that you don't already know the answer to. Well, extend that, if you will. You certainly don't call witnesses without any idea what the witnesses are going to say. So if they had full confidence in the evidence that they have so far, they wouldn't be trying to do this. And let's assume, Martha, just for the sake of discussion, that John Bolton comes in and he says, yeah, the president wanted the Bidens investigated, and he withheld the aid for a time to try to get that done. I don't think that adds anything to some of our knowledge. I don't think very many Republican senators are going to say that they think Trump did that or that he's guilty of that, but I think most of them think that he did, and I think what most of them think is improper but not impeachable. And I think that's where we've been for a long time, and I don't think, anything that we can imagine that John Bolton or the others would say would add much to that, so we'd be, basically where we are now.
Yeah, and it's a great point, because, you can imagine all kinds of scenarios of what John Bolton may or may not say, and any good attorney wants to walk into that situation with a pretty good idea of what's going to come out. I mean, and he could also, he could call it a drug deal. He could, say it's a hand grenade that's going to blow them all up, and then he could say, but I don't think it's impeachable, or I'm not sure that there was a link between.
Well, it doesn't matter whether it really doesn't matter what. It doesn't really matter whether he says it's impeachable or not, because that's not up to him. That's up to the senators who are voting. And remember, Martha, let's assume they get all four of those senators everybody's talking about, and they all vote to bring on the witnesses, and the witnesses come on, and all four of them say they're going to vote to convict. You'll be at 51 votes, and you need 67. So that's how much of a long shot this is.
Well, that could happen. I mean, they may feel like they need that vote for their elections back home, and that could be where this is going. But then you've got Rand Paul, who's coming forward and saying, that's fine, but you can't have it both ways, because if we're going to do that, if we get to a point where we're going to have witnesses, then we're going to also